Hi, there's Kevin with Rogue Deck Builder here with this week's episode of the Market Monday. Now, this isn't my typical setup for Market Monday. I want to have a conversation about a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for quite some time because I've been noticing some trends in the market. And that is, when does it become profitable to open up sealed just for the singles that are contained within those products? So this used to be something that was very popular back in, like, I would say 2013, 14, 15, where people would do mass box openings with a new product or an in-stock product and then just sell the singles. It is more viable to do that. It's funny how it's flipped, where sealed is now worth more than the singles, where it used to be where if you wanted to put in the legwork, that if you could crack open the sealed product, you'd actually get a better profit by selling the singles. And it was a lot easier due to fees and all other stuff that was with sealed product, having the big shipping fees and whatnot, just to sell the singles. And there used to be a lot of demand for singles. Now, in a post-COVID world where it's just not as viable for stores to be holding tournaments and ways to gather singles, it looks like we're coming into an era where it might be viable for mass box openers to start opening up product for that sort of getting the single. So there are a couple of explanations for this. A couple of theories that have gone around is that there aren't any tournaments being run, like in-store tournaments, and especially drafts. And that's where new sets used to get the vast majority of their singles to then sell, or at least a big portion of them was by hosting drafts and people trading in cards to then draft again. And you just had these limited players that just cannibalized their set or their cards over and over so they could draft as much as possible. Every store had, one or two of those specific players that just wanted to draft and draft and draft and then would just, sell everything they drafted so they could redraft and whatnot. And even with like pre-releases too, that used to be a huge way for stores to get singles and then sell. Now, the other thing is that it used to be profitable, like I said before, but then we entered in the era of like Kaladesh, Amonkhet, that whole era, that just killed the entire business of opening up booster boxes for the singles and then sell them for a profit. So everything is so trendy. Like right now we're seeing like the stock market and cryptocurrency being super, super trendy, with people that have no business actually investing in these things are starting to engage in it. And it's going to lead to a point where it won't be profitable for many of those avenues as well, just because, everyone can't be winners. That's the reality of life. Is not when there's something out there, when it's too good to be true, it's too big to be true, and there has to be some correction of having everything come back to kind of the norm. So that was the same with booster boxes. Booster boxes or other sealed product is profitable when there are few people doing that, but when everyone and their dog, and especially when it is backed up by extremely popular YouTubers that are like, hey, look, I cracked 1,000 booster boxes, here's my profit margin. And a lot of those are a lot misleading too, because they're not really going over the time. I mean, when we were looking at it back when we started the store, it was like we could pay ourselves maybe less than like half minimum wage to do that, because by all of just the time that went in to cracking booster boxes, posting things, like getting all the lists of cards online, and then actually selling them, it was really, really low profit margins at that point, and it just wasn't feasible. It just wasn't worth it. And I think that was the trend started getting amped up during the Amonkhet Hour to the Station days, and that also led to booster box prices just collapsing, or at least the singles, the EV, not the booster boxes themselves, but the EV just collapsing because everyone and their dog's grandma, or grandma's dog, or whoever, both, was trying to crack booster boxes for profit. But in this post-COVID world, it actually does seem that has more to do with these older sets starting to go up in value, their EV. We're not talking even about the sealed. The sealed is going up quite substantially. You can check out like Dongler or over in MTG stocks, and you can see their EVs for any particular box. Those are going up crazy, but just the singles. What I used to say on this Market Monday or any other market review, that if a rare in a current set or a recently rotated set can never go above $5, because once it does, then people just start cracking boxes to get it'll raise the EV enough. There's too much supply that rares are the new uncommons, basically meaning that if it's not a special foil or full art, that a rare can never go above 5. Now we're looking at a brand new set with collector's edition booster boxes that have a guaranteed $40 in them, with a rare that's $12 in the form of Skyclave Apparition. So we're back into a weird moment in Magic the Gathering where it might be, if you can find product that, I mean, to me, it just seems there's a lack of people actually cracking product nowadays to actually find those singles, because rares are now not the new uncommon. They're back to actually having, decent price tags. So, I mean, we even looked at back during the height of booster box openings with like Battle for Zendikar. That was another big set where Sylvan Advocate was played in 45% of all decks. It didn't have like a challenger deck that was leading to even more supply, like we see with like Bone Crusher Giant. Like we can say the same thing for Bone Crusher Giant. The Bone Crusher Giant just has such a dominance in standard, but it's still like a $2 rare. The Advocate was worth like $3, and it was so made you scratch your head that it was so dominant. It was such a dominant card, but it wasn't worth any money at that time in standard, and it was mainly due for people that were mass box opening and chasing for certain lottery cards, and it just led to the prices of the rest of the cards just getting crushed. So anyway, huge long intro. I get it. I'm rambling back into Kevin rambling mode, but this is my experiment for today. So I have the opportunity to buy these at $30 a piece. After fees, after credit card fees, shipping fees through distributors, it's going to cost a little bit more, like $31 or $32, to get these particular things called theme boosters. Now, this is the worst product ever made, in my opinion. But it leads to a good opportunity for people not even thinking about this product, and it led to distributors actually blowing these out. I think that normally these sell for about $40, because I think that the MSRP for them is $7 a booster pack, so it's like $70. So you can get them from distributors, I think it was like 38. Between 38 and 40 is what they were selling for originally, and so they've been discounted a good 20-30% off of, because the distributors are just sick of having them in there. They haven't sold. They're just trying to blow them out. Maybe, I'm not even sure if distributors have some sort of relations with Wizards of the Coast that tells them to blow out products a certain cost and maybe they get rebated. I don't know with that. I don't know exactly how that relationship works. But anyway, these are being blown out by a few distributors, mainly due to the fact that they are the worst product ever, because when you make everything special, nothing is special. But then when you leave out a particular set that doesn't have anything special in it to begin with, it becomes even less special. So these core sets do not have the opportunity to have foils in them. They do have some, like how they've been able to mitigate that in the more recent sets, is they've had exclusive cards that are only found in the theme decks. However, these ones that were printed in the last rotation, when they started making these theme decks, like the Guilds of Ravnica, we had a Guilds of Ravnica, we have Ravnica Allegiance, and we have a Core 2020. They didn't have anything special in them. You can get all the cards from regular booster packs that you can get in these. So anyway, so the thing is, like, everything has a price, and everything has a profit margin too, where it becomes profitable. And I'm thinking that these, especially since Core 2020 is now like what, 135 a booster box, Guilds of Ravnica is like 105, Ravnica Allegiance is pushing 100 for the regular booster boxes. The EV is starting to push up on all the uncommons and the commons and the rares in these, which you still can get from them. That this might be worth it. So there's gonna be 10 packs, so the cost of every booster pack is gonna be $3. So you need to crack about $3 worth of value. What makes Core Set 2020 and Ravnica Allegiance kind of interesting is you have like Wilderness Reclamation in here that's actually an uncommon that is valuable. You get a ton of uncommons in these too. So the uncommon value, the EV you get from those is much higher than you would from a regular booster box. The rares are very similar because you can get 2 rares in these, but you have no chance of getting a foil. So I'm sure the EV from the rare slot is very similar because of no foil rares, but the option of a double rare. But you do get a lot of commons and uncommons. So one of these that does have like a slot like Veil of Summer, I believe, or Wilderness Reclamation, you might be able to make your money back. So we're going to crack these and see what the overall total value of this is. I'll post it somewhere in the editing here of the video of what we end up with each booster box, and I'll probably be chatting you up while I'm opening this up as well. So again, that is the whole thought experiment, is if products get completely blown out. I've done this with products in the past. I remember when Dual Decks Elves versus Inventors got blown out. I hoarded up a bunch of them, and now it's finally is profitable because a couple of the cards in there, like Azuri, finally did go up. So these are the type of things you want to look for. These products that are considered trash, well, are they trash at a particular price? I mean, Time Spiral booster boxes are going for what, $3.50 right now? These are going for $30. So if you compare prices, is this worth more in the scope of things than something that is in high demand that is worth a ton? So let's get cracking these Core Set 2020s, and I'll quit rambling. I actually do like booster box openings, by the way. Come and check out our Gone Rogue Game channel. We do a lot of profit or losses on the Gone Rogue games, where we open up a booster box, usually for a patron, sometimes for ourselves, and see if we either lose or profit, you know, using like TCG mid prices. Again, it's just like a fun little thing to do with opening up booster box. So let's start with the Core 2020. This is the one that I want to see. The thing with these is, yeah, they're pretty bad as far as like what you got for them. They definitely were not worth the value of being, you know, $6.99 per booster pack, because it's not. And these are kind of terrible too. Like Wizards tries to advertise them that you can open them up and just add 15 lands and have a deck, and it's so bad. Like a lot of these newer ones too, they'll have like multicolored cards in them. Like, why is a multicolored card in a green thing? You'd have to add like even more lands and make your mana base so terrible to try to cast like one specific black card that's in your green deck, and it wouldn't be worth it. So the whole idea of shuffling these up is stupid. Like, I don't know, they should have done something special with these particular things. Again, having only exclusive cards in them. I think this would be a good way to get reprints into not only just reprints alone, like kind of what they do with the list cards, but also cards that they want in standard, but don't want a slot in like a regular draft environment. So even like a card like Negate, for example, this would be where they could throw it in like a theme deck, have it be legal in standard, and then they don't have to print it in a like in the draft environment. Then they can do something else cool with that slot, where they have to, like, you know, put naturalizes and negates and things they do want in, you know, the normal standard environment. So anyway, let's start with the blue one and see what we get. So these also were very bulky packaging for what they did. So of course they didn't sell well. They wanted to be these things to be kind of impulse buys at the Walmart check stands, and, you know, for super ultra casual players. But then, you know, even super ultra casual players realized that these were just so terrible. The first time the theme boosters were printed, we did sell a lot of them, and each set they've just got worse and worse. So here's an example. You're supposed to get a core set blue theme booster. First of all, there's no themes to these. That's another thing they could have done with this product, is actually made a damn theme. So maybe this be like, what was Core Set 2020? It had an Elementals vibe for green, so maybe they could have done just Elementals, and it could be a theme booster you could buy. But if they want to stick with the colors, maybe they could actually have some sort of Elemental blue theme, or just some sort of rhyme or reason that the cards included in them. We're not Stone Golem. We're not a 4/4 vanilla creature. This is not what you want from a shuffle up deck, to get a vanilla like draft creature. This is good in like sealed or limited, because it gives you an option if you have bad mana for a 4/4. Like it could be your 20 through 24th playable. Now Melissa Del Toro did make a good analogy of why they, I guess not analogy, just good statement of why they actually print bad cards. This is for new players to get to analyze good cards versus bad cards, and actually makes them excited about good cards, because then they can compare it to something like Stone Golem and be like, oh yeah, this is utter trash. Well, this card's actually good because I have something to compare it with. Anyway, let's get to this. So we have a Stone Golem, which is worth nothing. We have Frilled Sea Serpent, Sleep Paralysis, lots of commons here. The Moat Piranhas. We have Meteor Golem. This was an interesting card. I actually spec'd into so many of these, and was this the first set? It was M20, and they've printed this card like crazy. Like every set they printed Meteor Golem, every supplemental set they printed Meteor Golem, and this card is like an ultra common at this point. But I was expecting that, like, as if it was only printed in M20 as an uncommon, I definitely believe it would be worth like $1 by this point for how much it sees play in Commander. So lots of artifacts in this one. So far, no. There we go. So we have, let's just count the uncommons you get from this set. So far we are now down to 2 uncommons, and double unsummon right in the way. And then there's 3. Scholar of the Ages, really good card. It was reprinted in Commander Legends, but it's just in, I don't think it's worth anything. Anticipate at one point it was worth something. We have a Lockbox. We have Winged Words was an interesting common. I believe it still does see play in some historic decks, but I mean, historic's not a real format for paper. All right, so we have a Pattern Marcher. Fairy Miscreant was a cool reprint. So you get kind of like 3 Fairy Miscreants in this one. So I think they did do a lot of some of those back-to-backs. These ones feel like they did have a little more theme than the ones that they print now. We have Heartpiercer Bow. We have a Captivating Gyre, so that's another uncommon. A Hardcover, which is another uncommon. And then we have a Spectral Sailor, which I don't know if this one has any sort of value if it's been reprinted or whatnot. I guess we'll see. And then we have our first rare, which is the Masterful Replication. So again, for these sort of theme boosters, I think you want to start getting the EV slot from the rares and the uncommons above $3, and then they're worthwhile. So I'll have to do some digging to see if that's where Core 2020 is at this point. And you might be able to, like, here's another thing you could do is, like, go after the ones that you know, like the greens, for example, have the Veil of Summer. And I think you have a pretty good odds of getting a specific card like Veil of Summer from this particular theme booster. In fact, we'll go crack a green here and see if we actually do get one. I believe it's in this set. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Veil of Summer's not even in M20. But I think that will definitely make these suckers worth it if you have like a high chance of cracking one. All right, so let's go with the green one. But yeah, such a failure of a product. Like, look what you get. This is just like, and the thing too is they overcharged for them. It was so much, like almost double what a regular booster pack costs for just a lot of trash. Like, you get a whole pile of commons, which a lot of times core set commons aren't even good to begin with because they're very vanilla. All right, so we have, there we go, Veil of Summer right off the bat. And I believe this one does still have a pretty penny for this particular one. So that one is definitely going to be worth money. We have another lockbox, lots of artifacts in these ones. And a champion and saddle. And we have the Thrashing Bronson. If this sucker wasn't reprinted a billion times, it would be a card that was worth actual money as well. People have to remember, like, buy lists do exist. There's things that you can be profitable with. A Colossus Hammer. This one is actually very, very good. I think it might be another uncommon out of the set that is worth money, as it is played in the modern Overgrowth Elemental. Kind of fun little elemental card. And Leafkin Druids. These actually have real world value, which is funny, with like buy lists offering like 5 cents for them every now and again. Let's go. Another Stone Golem, Pulse of Marasa, which had a reprint, and the Natural End. And we have a Night Pack Ambusher as the rare. Let's go for a black one now. So we did get the Veil of Summer. I think that's what you're looking for with these particular theme boosters. If you make out with a couple of them, that's where you make your money back. But I don't know. I think even at $30 or sort of $3 per pack, these are going to be pretty tough to crack your money back with them. Like, what is that? So 135 is what? I don't know. Like, the thing is, the Core 2020 regular booster boxes are going for 135, 140 on eBay, and that ends up being, yeah, $4 a booster pack. That's like, so you're actually getting discounted. But I guess you don't have foil slots. I don't know how much that is actually adding to the mix. All right, so here we go with the black. See if black had anything decent in them with the Thought Distortion. I think this card will be worth money in the long term if it doesn't get a reprint. We have, this is actually a combo piece. I think they did already reprint it though in Commander Legends, maybe? I can't remember. Another, so I guess you get a lockbox out of every stinking pack. Noxious Grass, another one that should age well. A Manifold Key, another one I think it should age well. Commander players actually love it. Murders have been buy listed in the past. Yarok's Fenlurker, another card that does see play in older formats. Disfigure was an uncommon in this one. We have a Scuttlemutt. That one was a reprint, but that one actually did get up to a buy list price before it did get reprinted in this particular set. So, Blood for Bones. This one actually is a very popular. I think this one too has like real world value. Again, you always have to discuss what bulk is, what true bulk is, and what bulk is. Bulk is something you can't like sell. It's hard to buy a list right off the bat, right? Like early, but I typically like set my bulk aside, and my true bulk just goes in a box, and I go for a bonfire or something. Like eventually we're gonna like send a pallet off to Troll and Toad for bulk prices. But they're your super vanilla creatures. That's like your stone golems. That's what ends up in bulk. And then anything like true bulk or true bulk, what ends up in bulk is like things like this that might not have any real world value. But we kind of set it aside because one day it might have some real world value. Look at all the Lorwyn uncommons. And I mean, even earlier than that, or more recent than that, you have like things from even Pioneer sets that were very, very bulky when they were being drafted. I mean, people just threw them out, and now they're worth like $2-3 a piece because of even it has like Cease playing like 1,000 commander decks. Well, that's going to start stretching the supply of them away. So we have a Salvage of Ruins, and we have a Bone Splinter, a Duress. Duresses at one point have been on buy lists before. I know I've sent off hundreds of Duresses before. So that's another thing I usually don't put in bulk. Like I'll put it in my bulk, kind of set it aside, know where it's at, and know where I need to dig for them if they ever do go to buy lists. It doesn't go in my true bulk that just gets basically sent off. We have the... So I guess they like to print 3 of these in the sets. And we have Knight of Even Legion, a very good card. I believe it's in a Challenger deck, though, for mono black. And we didn't get any double rares for this one yet, so I guess we can put our rares to the side here. Some pretty good rares, though, for the core set. A lot of them are pretty decent. Here, there's a Nightpick Ambusher. And we've had some pretty good hits for the commons, or uncommons. So I believe that the red deck has a few uncommons that are worth money as well. We have the Caves. I'm not sure if Caves is on that list for cards but it's another one that, like, this is a card you should always set aside. Mono white or mono colored commanders. This is just a good card to throw in or not mono colored, in a colorless. It's just strictly better than a waste. Typically, I have the Ember Hauler, Dragon Mage, Furiate, Mask. So again, some decent uncommons in these theme boosters. On Cage Fury, that got upshifted? Guess so. Shock's another one. These oftentimes go on buy lists, even though they've been in billions of Challenger decks and whatnot. Got a Fry. Good card. I guess the uncommon slot with this one was pretty good because Flame Sweep. We do have a lot of the hate cards that they have a hard time reprinting, like the deal damage to, blue or white with the Fry. And we have the Veil of Summer. That whole run was pretty good. All right, so we have, whoops, starting to put all my commons in the wrong slot. Uncommons anyway. Retribution Wand. So a lot of pack. I think this one had 4 Pack Mastiffs in it. The Lavacan Brawler. Scampering Scorcher. Definitely a playable card. And the Drakaseth Maw of Flames. So, yeah, we'll go with white here. Give ourselves a good crack. And Fencing Ace. That one's had some reprints. Not sure if white has one that I can think right off. Yeah, never mind. This one does have value. Yeah, the Angel of Vitality. That's another one that is starting to creep up in price. Another Meteor Golem. Massive Splicer. Devout Decree. Decent little card that does see, Cyber play and Pioneer and Modern from time to time. I think Modern has a better option, but Pioneer doesn't at the moment. And I see a lockbox. Everyone has had a lockbox. We can identify a theme deck that actually does get those. Eternal Isolation. Yep, so we have the Loyal Pegasus. Had a reprint, God's Willing. That's a good card, but it was a common at one point. Rule of Law. I don't know if these will ever go back up in value, but these were... I think this one got replaced, didn't it? Isn't there just like a 2-mana enchantment that now does the exact same thing? Out of one of the newer sets. Scuttlemutt, Disenchant, and we have the Ancestral Blade. And yeah, so white, I'm not sure if white, how much value the white slots from these packs have. All right, let's start off another green and see if we can hit another Veil of Summer and see what we end up actually. We'll crack these ones, and we'll maybe have to do another video. Maybe these Ravnica Legions, this Guild Ravnica, we'll have to see what they contain, if they're actually worthwhile in another video. But I hope this one's been valuable enough for Market Monday. Like, I hesitate doing these because a lot of people can't stand watching box openings, but if I can keep it relevant to a topic, I think that's pretty good. So yeah, basically, hey, there we go, another Veil of Summer. So there's your huge hits here with Veil of Summers. Thrashing Bronze on this one seems very similar. Howling Giant. Okay, there's definitely some. If we had a box yet in this one, got the Growth Cycles. Season of Growth. I believe this card is also starting to creep up in value. The Season of Growth. Colossus Hammer again. So the green ones definitely are the ones you probably want to be looking to buy. Field of the Dead. There you go. There's an expensive little card there. A big hit. This is definitely going to profit. And there's our double. See, there's our double pack with the Cavalier of Thorns. So Cavalier of Thorns and a Field of Dead. I think we've already profited on this particular theme booster box for the $30 price tag that it requires to get in on it. So let's do another. I believe this was a red. But yeah, I'd like to know in the comment section what you think about my theory that it's just really the lack of sellers. Like, they just got steamrolled for a while there during the Battle for Zendikar through Amonkhet era, where it was just so unprofitable that people were there were just so many casuals that were sifting through trying to hit those lottery cards that it just crushed that whole business model of starting a fake store or a fake LGS store to get distributor prices. That was dirty. Look at that, out of the pack. To try to make that profit margin work with the mass box openings. And now I think we're seeing like a snapback where we have a lack of sellers doing it, and that's led to an opportunity for these boxes becoming actually profitable, which then doesn't affect the EV of them, which then ends up things like Core 2020 being bought out in one day, going from 85 to 135 just overnight. Another Colossus Hammer. So you get a lot of hammers. So artifacts are very common. Chandra Spitfire, it's a very popular card. We have the Chandra Novice Pyromancer. And we got the Repeated Reverberation. 3 packs left. So yeah, all of these can be hits with the hammers. And whatnot. All right. Not sure if the Diamond Knights hold any value, but I'm thinking even a theme booster box, you probably end up with like as many uncommons just from a theme booster box as you do with the entire booster box of non-themes. There's so many uncommons in these. Blight Beetle, that was a cool card at one point. Good, there's some good uncommon slots in these core sets. Another Lockbox, so common in these. Vengeful War Chief. Alright, let's go to the Gravedigger. Another Retribution Mon, a Blood for Bones, and Leyland of Void. Good little hit there. Leyland of Void. So throw that away. And everything does have real world value. Like I said, bulk, you can eventually send it off to a bigger store that has use for it. A lot of these places do like a lot of repackaging, or they make their own little instant collections and whatnot. Let them deal with the headache of that. If you can still make it profitable with sending it like in flat rates or pallets, it's money. It's something that's there you can do with your old cards. That's something Magic can say about it, rather than other games where even like, I guess Pokemon has value for every card too, because there are people that try to collect. Either Gus, I think this one will recover. It wasn't a challenger deck, but it should recover long term. So even these ones have some good ones. So we have lots and lots. There's a Primer Cutthroat in there. I think that was in a challenger deck as well. Speaking of which, challenger decks are something that might be viable to just crack open in a few years when it gives time for these to accrue value. Agent of Treachery, another good hit, another good pull with the Dungeon Guy. So it was another double. So we've had 2 double rare packs out of here, which is, not bad. And we'll get to our last pack here. And then we'll go total these up and see if we profit or not. And I guess I'll put that at the end of the video, or we'll just put all the prices as I open them and whatnot. So another Angel of Vitality. I guess we'll just thumb through them to see what we end up. Another Colossus Hammer. Guess I should have been separating the ones I think were worth money out of here. Another Lockbox. Like, geez. So many lockboxes. Herald of the Sun. Another Rule of Law. Again, I don't think it's worth anything because it got a replacement with another card. I guess in Commander, though, if Commander players will still want both of them. So it still does. The second best option is still, like, even those are like better than maybe a reprint, because a reprint you can't even add it to your Commander deck. And we have a Loxodon Life Chanter. All right, for that. So what did we end up with rares? So we got we had a white, our 2 white rares. We had triple on the blue rares. The Field of the Dead was an extra rare for green. And we have not bad here for the rare slots. I know that the Field of the Dead was the big hit. And I mean, it's a way when your rare slots are actually what's leading to the value of the set. I think it gives this one a little more interesting than something where the mythic slots are, or even like the foil slots are worth the pretty penny. All right, let me pick out some cards I think might be worth something out of the uncommons here. So we have Colossal Hammer. I believe we got 4 Colossal Hammers. Maybe it's 3. We've got a Gust. And there might be some of these that I just missed that are worth more than I think. So yeah, Colossal Hammer. Got the Seasons of Growth. Got 2 Veil of Summer, so both of them had a Veil of Summer. See what other hammers we ended up with out of here. I'm not sure if Manifold Key's actually been moving up there. I know Commander players love it, but there's the other Veil of Summer. And I think we had one more Colossus Hammer. Maybe not. Maybe that's it. Nope, that was it for the Colossus Hammer. So you get like a stack of uncommons, huge stack of uncommons. So if any given set that the uncommons are worthwhile, like Throne of Eldraine's getting interesting with some of the commons even in there. But you get a huge stack of commons, of course, but relatively speaking, you have more of a stack of uncommons compared to a regular booster box than that. So again, not the most interesting Market Monday, but I thought it was worthwhile for discussion to talk about, when it's viable to even opening up the worst products ever created, which I think theme boosters are definitely. I mean, the Chinese set, what is the Chinese set? The precons. That was pretty crap. Like, there was just awful cards in those. There have been some pretty bad intro packs in the past, but at least they've contained booster packs in them. So I'd actually compare that pretty comparable to those for like bad ones. Speaking of like theme boosters, they actually did become viable. There have been points that I've been able to buy out like Fate Reforged or Eldritch Moon just because the booster pack value and the known cards in them, like hitting Bedlam Revelers out of Eldritch Moon when they're like $6-7, were worthwhile to even crack those and just piece them out for the cards in them and then turn a profit. Even to be able to do that via buy listing, not even by traditional selling them. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Kevin with the Rogue Deck Builder. If you're interested in these type of videos, definitely come check out our Gone Rogue Games channel, where we open up booster boxes and see if we profit, or you can actually go and look at the Rogue Market. We'll actually have a recap for this video and talking about maybe some M20 cards that have the potential of going up in the future. It's been Kevin with Rogue Deck Builder. Thanks for watching.